Hello, Maharaj-ji satsang. There are humorous things about my relationship with Maharaj-ji, and I'll give you an example. I'm in Delhi. This is a familiar story, but I'm in Delhi and I'm wearing an Alfie potato sack and beard and beads and have my hair long, and I go into a vegetarian restaurant, and the Indians in the restaurant recognize that I'm an old hippie, and they're very curious about me, and so I have a vegetarian dinner, and I pray before I eat, and everything's very pucka for the supposed sadhu, and they come to the dessert, and it's ice cream with 2 biscuits, and they're all watching me, and I realize that the biscuits aren't yogi food, but there are my food. They're, and so I decide I better hide the biscuits, and I go like I'm looking at something, like I'm looking at a wall or something, and so they're turning to see what I'm looking for, and I sneak the biscuits into my pocket, which they can't see because it's a booth, and I get out of the restaurant, and I eat the cookies, knowing that I have not been caught, and I was still a good yogi. And I take the bus from Delhi to Nainital, which is up in the mountains, and I'm going to go see Maharaj-ji, and another bus to Kenchi, and as I walk in the temple, Maharaj-ji yelling, "How'd you like the cookies? How'd you like the cookies?" And I realized that I can't hide. I just can't hide from him. And if you can, you better than I, because we are Maharaj-ji satsang, and he latches on to each of us, and it doesn't matter whether you saw him when when he was alive, or that doesn't matter. If you've had a dream or have a, and if you know, if he's in your heart, so then you're Maharaj-ji satsang, and he's got you. He's absolutely got you. If you think of him feeling that love. After my first trip to India, I was in New Hampshire, my father's farm, and there was a guy that came along, and he was slightly crazy. Not too much, but slightly. And I nurtured him and made friends with him. And I said, why didn't he go to India, and then he could meet my guru, because I knew that Maharaj-ji cures sick people. And so I went to India, and he also went to India. And all of about 20 of us before Maharaj-ji. And this fellow was in the back. And I was feeling heartsick because this fellow wasn't getting enough attention from Maharaj-ji. And I was, I had compassion for that guy, and I felt Maharaj-ji should give, and I was bummed at Maharaj-ji. And in a month, Maharaj-ji had brought him up, and Maharaj-ji had made him his major domo, and all I felt was jealousy. Because I was jealous because he had Maharaj-ji's attention. When I wrote Be Here Now, just before the second trip to India, he received a copy, and he called me up and he said, "You're printing lies." I said, "No, Maharaj-ji, everything in that book is true." He says, "You're printing lies." And he showed me something that I had heard from somebody that was apparently not true. So he said, "You better change it." the Be Here Now was the printing of it was was the Lama Foundation, and the Lama Foundation printed it by the Sun Publishing Company in Albuquerque. So I said, I better go back to Nainital and wire the Lama Foundation, Steve Durkee. And I said, this paragraph you can change, because this is Maharaj-ji's book and we've got to change it. And a few days later I got a letter from Steve saying your wire was too late because I was down at the Sun Printing at Albuquerque, and the book was on the press, the big press. They printed one thing, and I when I left, it was very printed. We're going to be printed. And I said, oh God, this is terrible. Maharaj-ji wants it. And this was the second printing that we were talking about. And I went down to Maharaj-ji and he said, they can't stop the press because it's printing now. It's printed, and we'll have to stop it. We'll have to change it in the third printing. I said, because it's very, very costly to a printing is very costly. We can't throw them away. I said, because it's thousands of dollars. And he said to me, truth and money have no relationship. When you thought it was true, you could let it go. But once you know it's false, then you're printing lies. And I said, I'm sorry, we'll just have to go along with that because we don't have the money. So I went back to Nainital, and there was a wire from Stephen at Lama. And he said, I just got a letter from the printer saying that they had removed the job from the presses because one page was light, and they looked in their files, and the file of that page was missing, and they will wait until we tell them to go ahead. So there was Maharaj-ji telling me the truth and money have not relationships to one another. And then he got into the files of the printer, unbeknownst to anybody, and did his magic. You know, he's gotten me to tell the truth. But then he said, Ramdas, come here. He says, you love everybody. I said, Maharaj, I do, which is first lie. He says, you don't yet. You have to love everybody. And, you know, that's a tall order, you know, to love everybody, including George Bush. And then I saw that my ego can never love everybody, because my ego has too many opinions and judgments. But my soul can love everybody, because my soul looks around and sees everybody as souls. And all the soul does from other souls is love them. So in other words, he was telling me that it was time for my identity to not be ego, but to be soul, which is because those are two levels, two planes of consciousness, the soul level and the ego level. And the soul loves everybody. Loves everybody. You ought to try it. Okay, how about questions? I'll tell you one thing. Maharaj-ji said all the time, Savek, which is, we're all one. And then I took a picture from a picture like this of Maharaj-ji, and I stick it up in my bathroom, and I used it as, you better beware, because he was pointing at me. You better beware. And Krishnadas saw this picture and he said, Maharaj-ji is pointing out that there is only one. That picture was reminding me there's one. We're all one. We're all one. We're all one. We're all one. And I think that we all, Maharaj-ji satsang, we are very graced. We are very graced to have him bring us to him through the temple, through our personal experience, through our reading, through our whatever it was. We are very graced. Yes. Hi. Yes. I think there is that feeling through all the world, that the feeling of this lightness and easy to in the spirit, and that's why our hearts make a difference, because all the satsang around the world are they're a force that makes peace and freedom and compassion. I think that the fact of the matter is that both of you are living, and Maharaj-ji was there even though you didn't feel him. Your mind may be taken away by the trauma, and he was there. He was there. I often find that he's there even though I don't feel his presence. Yeah. In fact, that experience led to this discussion, and this discussion, we all are hearing this discussion, and we all have times when the presence isn't there, and it's there. I often find that I'm thinking something and Maharaj-ji can't get through my thoughts or my I've had a funny experience. The last time I was in the temple, at the temple, a fellow with not enough faith, he said to me, you talking to Maharaj-ji, but Maharaj-ji's dead. And he said, don't you imagine that's just your imagination? Just your imagination? And I thought about it for a minute, and I said, yes, it's my imagination. And I don't think that my imagination is away from Maharaj-ji. Maharaj-ji thinks, well, Maharaj-ji, he affects my imagination. So when I want to talk to Maharaj-ji, I wait until I feel the presence, which you didn't feel that time. And when I feel that presence, it's a vibration. Then I slip into my imagination, and he and I speak, because he is in every one of our hearts. And that's like you're speaking between the ego and the soul. You can speak to yourself. And if you feel Maharaj-ji didn't feel Maharaj-ji, you can feel the Maharaj-ji from within you. From within you. Bye. Oh, I remember Chooch. Don't worry. Oh, I'm great. Hey, gee, the light is pouring out of you, Chooch. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. Okay. I can't hear anything. You there we go. One more. You don't. I'm not hearing anything.
Say it now.
Huh?
Say that you're not hearing.
I am not hearing anything. And when I do Ram, 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 I'm just closing the gap between Maharaj-ji and me. And that's so for the Hanuman Chalisa. Yeah. Ram, 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 Ram. Oh, God. It makes me teary-eyed.